Welcome back. Hard Facts 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Chinedu here. Well, it's time for us to talk power. This is because the federal government says Nigeria's electricity crisis can no longer be solved from Abuja alone. So they're tired. The electricity sector in Nigeria has long suffered too many things, from persistent blackouts, underinvestment, aging infrastructure, generation shortfalls, centralized regulation challenges, and everything imaginable responsible for the blackouts. The federal government now acknowledges that the responsibility should be shared. I'm certain at the time of this broadcast, which is right now, someone somewhere listening does not have light. And at the Nigeria Energy Leadership Summit in Lagos, Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu stated that under the Electricity Act of 2023, the 36 states of Nigeria must assume full responsibility for generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity rather than relying solely on the federal government. The minister emphasized that a country as geographically large and populous as Nigeria cannot rely on a centralized power management model from Abuja and expect uniform, reliable electricity supply. So far, 15 states have been granted autonomy to run their own electricity markets, and Enugu State is already leading the way with a fully operational state-level power market. And so, questions would definitely follow that directive. Now, the new law, which is the Electricity Act, decentralizes the electricity sector, allows states to establish their own regulatory commissions, and attract private investments, explore new energy sources. However, there's always a however. Experts warn that granting autonomy alone is not enough. States must develop the technical and financial capacity to manage their markets, ensure proper regulation, and work closely with private investors to avoid chaos in the system. My guest is an energy consultant, and he breathes and lives all things power. He's Mr. Ken Osuji. Hello, Mr. Osuji. How are you doing?
Thank you, some of the viewers.
It's so nice to see you. I just figured the last time we were here was 2 years ago. How time flies.
Let's say that again.
Thanks for making the time.
Thank you.
So, the statement of the Minister of Power, which obviously represents the position of federal government, is like a father telling his overgrown children to leave his house because he would no longer be financially responsible for their needs. Now, the question in the context of this conversation, are the children ready to leave?
Well, I take it from the angle of the ego.
Okay.
When the chicks of the ego hatch from the egg, if the mother ego waits for the children to start flying, definitely they won't fly. What she does is to take them to a very high cliff and push them from that cliff. If you like, don't fly. If you like, fly and leave, or you don't fly and crash to the bottom.
That's ego rights abuse to those who might die.
Yes, it's a survival of the fittest thing that we are in now. After all, on May 29th, 2023, right?
Subsidy.
Our guy said subsidy is gone. And we all thought that we are all going to die within 3-4 months. And here we are, still living and breathing. Before I entered the studio to join you, I heard you on headline news talking about the 15%
the
tax on imported
fuel. Yeah.
Just before we started, I was telling you, make the man take him easy now, make him do it small. But sometimes we live in an environment where what we understand is the shock treatment. Until that is done, then I think, So the states should, gear up. The federal government has been doing it, and we're saying they're not doing it well. Now they're saying, oh yeah, come and do. And are they ready? Let those who are ready start. Those who are not ready should get ready.
Okay, speaking about readiness, what would constitute a state being ready? What kind of investment should states require to be self-sufficient? Where do they start?
All right, Sam, the first thing I advise, and I will always advise, is for us to understand that electricity is big business.
Indeed.
In fact, it's so big, it is termed the commanding height of an economy. Without electricity, I don't know what anybody wants to really do.
You and I can be here.
Good. So I can tell you, before we end, maybe you ask me a question on the cost-benefit analysis between gas and electricity. I mean, cooking gas and electricity, and I will tell you. But back to the point now, what do the states need? The states don't need any big money or any big thing, believe me, to get ready. What the states need is the political will. The political will put in place a security infrastructure to protect whatever investment they are going to ask people to come and make in their states. I'll give you a typical example. Let's go to agriculture. Do you know that Lagos state government was became partners with some states in the north for rice production? Lagos had the money, the states had the land. They took their money to those states, Taraba, Nasarawa, and the rest of them, and started cultivating rice there under public-private partnership. And rice everywhere. So why don't you look at it from that angle? This is a private sector thing. Don't try to do, no state should put 1 naira into power sector besides infrastructural issues relating to power. The road that will lead to where it is, and so on and so forth. That's all you need to do. There are establishments, locally based and the ones overseas, who are ready to come into this market to invest. If Dangote hadn't struck out, would we be having the relative ease we're having with supply today in Nigeria? Let me answer me.
Of course not.
The current president of Nigeria, Tinubu, would have solved Lagos state power problem when he was governor. But he was prevented by I don't want to sound partisan, by the PDP-led government of Olusegun Obasanjo.
It was the Electricity Act, Mr. Osuji, of the time. It was the law.
No, please. No, it wasn't the law. Tinubu wanted to make Lagos independent of NEPA in terms of generation.
Okay.
I'm not talking of distribution, because power has 4 components. You have generation, transmission, distribution, and trading or marketing. So Tinubu went and brought in Enron. He didn't put Lagos State 1 naira into this whole thing. All he did was to give them where to stay, provide security and all whatnot. That's what Tinubu did. And that's what he's doing now, by asking the states to take over and do the needful.
Was power not on the exclusive list?
It was, but generation then. I said, when you say power, ask yourself which arm of power. Generation was not on the exclusive list then.
Okay.
You understand? Because Obasanjo too was interested in power. You remember he invested a lot of money in power.
Yeah.
And so I think the Electric Power Sector Reform Act of 2005, which was promulgated by Obasanjo, removed generation. That was what gave Tinubu the impetus to do what he did. He brought in Enron, which is now defunct. Enron came in, and within 90 days, Enron was ready to generate. People thought it was magic. NEPA said, give us, then NEPA or PHC, and said, give us the money to build it for you. Tinubu said, I'm not giving anybody anymore, I don't have the money. Aaron said, give us assurance that there will be offtake of the power produced.
Yeah, once we generated,
they brought in badges. People were waiting for when they will start breaking ground, building. They brought in badges, more them at the lagoon, the area Tinubu gave them, at the lagoon, installed their turbines on the lagoon, and we're ready to start firing.
How are they going to transmit?
It's wire now that both undersea cables.
Yeah, agreed. Isn't that agreed now?
No, listen to me. TCN, the transmission company of Nigeria, has always been federal government owned. Did the federal government even allow Tinubu to get to that point? You know what they did? Enron was ready. They had test run. The issue now was Enron ran their gas line, because it was a gas-fired power plant.
Okay.
Ran their gas line to where they were supposed to connect to NGC, Nigerian Gas Company, owned by the government, to Focados or something like that. Or your connectors, pricing became an issue. The federal government made sure that they killed that thing. Why? Because the federal was PDP, Lagos was AD, Alliance for Democracy.
On that thing.
Simple. That's why I said the moment people show the political will to do it in the states, believe you me, it will happen.
Okay, so let's look at the different sectors, right? Like you said, generation, transmission, distribution, and trading. We know that different states have different strengths by way of energy source. Some states have more wind than others, if we are going to ever consider wind. The entire country, I want to say sun is shining on all of us. I know it might be hotter in some states, but we all have sun. Gas, we might be at an advantage in this part. Which other energy source do we have?
Nuclear.
So,
if you weren't going to include it, I would have included it.
There's no way I was going to include nuclear.
Because listen, finish what you're asking.
Okay. So would the states have to play to the strength of their region based on generation?
Now, let me go straight to the answer to that question. Listen, Sam, I told you that Lagos State government brought money to farm in Taraba, Nasarawa, and some states, and then moved the farm produce to Lagos to process.
Yeah.
Now, I happen to be, close to the power independent Imo State Electricity Regulatory Commission.
Okay.
And I told the man that if I become the governor of Imo State tomorrow, as my state, by the way,
okay,
that I wasn't going to rely on any other thing to make money. Every other source of making money would become peripheral, marginal. That the main source was going to be electricity.
Okay.
Why? Imo State has gas more than it has oil. It has a lot of gas. And so what am I going to do? I'll start producing electricity from gas. I won't do it directly. I will invite the specialists, companies, private companies from Europe and America and the rest of them. I will even invite ESCOM of South Africa and so on and so forth. Anybody who can generate, come and generate too. As I generate, I pipe into the national grid because it's TCN, it's federal government owned.
Yeah.
It's like a basket.
Yeah.
I pipe into the basket. I'll be paid for what I'm piping into the basket.
So your contribution?
I'll be paid. That's how I'll be piping in millions, in fact, gigawatts of energy into the grid. You understand? Then anybody can take it off from anywhere you are. If you're in Sokoto, take my power there. I can also call the Sokoto state government to come to Imo State and host a private company to generate power in Imo State. You know what that would do to Imo State in terms of revenue?
Yeah.
Then he can now
they'll pay tax, huh?
Pipe it into the grid. Sokoto state government will be generating in Imo State, in River State, wherever there is gas. They will pipe it into the grid and take it off at Sokoto.
Okay. Now, Minister of Power says you can have your own grid. You are also allowed transmission. So you may not need national grid. How would you reconcile that?
Intra-grid and inter-grid.
You make this sound as if it's just...
It's simple.
Just carry your 2.5 and go and... This is...
Sam Mbakwe.
This is major infrastructure.
You see, Sam Mbakwe had an intra-grid in Imo State when he had Amarako Power Station. Sam Mbakwe had an Amarako Power Station. Mbakwe under Shagari, 1979 to 1983. He had a power station at Amarako. Imo State had his own grid system, that intra-grid. Because when it crosses the state line, it now becomes an inter-grid, just like interstate interest good.
I understand.
Simple. So what is that? You see, you keep looking at, okay, let me give you a typical example now. Dr. Peter Odili had an intra-grid transmission system. That's why you have the